Man, you know, just like wheels and tires can make something look sharp, headlights can definitely make something look sharp. What's up, guys? Kai with TK Speed Shop. And today, of course, it's another Yukon video. Last video, I said the Holley Terminator X is going to be the last thing that we do. So now we got to start tying up some loose ends. We have accessory drive, we have exhaust, and some little miscellaneous stuff before we actually start this. When we start it, I want to be able to go just like that. But all right, real quick, up to speed. Again, this is an OBS Yukon. We LS swapped it, all right? Basic LS swap, upgraded springs, little camshaft, and we took the harness from the stock ECU out, pulled everything we didn't need, repinned it, put it back in, and we're gonna use it to control stuff that's not gonna be controlled by the Holley. Same thing with the fuse box, yada yada, whoop-de-doo-dah, okay? We got lower radiator hose. I told you guys I was going to let you know about that upper radiator hose. I do have the upper radiator hose that will actually fit this with the stock shroud. Heater stuff connected, all that stuff that works, all right? Now, let's talk about the assortment of parts we're installing today. All right, I went down to my local pool yard, found the 04 Sierra, and I just had my way. And ripped off all this stuff. The whole idea of this is to make it look as a stock appearing, like it rolled off the line like this, I guess. We're testing creativity. All right, here's that part number for that radiator hose. It is a Duralast brand. You can take a moment to screenshot that, take a picture of it, but this works perfectly with that shroud. All right, but we got online and we found yet another one of those Amazon bracket kits. This one is, focus, whatever this is, I'll put this down below. This one was 60 bucks and it looks literally identical to the one that I have on the 77 Trans Am LS swap project build thing. So that one didn't come with instructions, so I'm going to be referencing this to install onto this. Yeah. But got another pulley. I love these little aftermarket pulleys. I'll put the link down and below. I like them because I can access all this stuff without pulling a pulley. Power steering pump off of a Silverado. Alternator off of a Silverado. Tensioner. Idler pulley. Now, what I have realized with these kits right here is these pulleys that they send are trash, okay? That's cool. Just buy you a OEM AcDelco replacement and it's good to go. You're still gonna come out less spending money on just getting that extra piece than you would to buy this fancy aftermarket ICT billet version of it, whatever. Tranny fluid, oil. I run Rotella in my LS motors, 1030, perfectly fine. It's cheap, buy it off the shelf. This airbox cleaner and going with the factory look, I also went ahead and robbed the brackets that sat on the truck of the MBS body style. That way we can repurpose this and see can we graft those into that. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Yeah, I got some more parts coming in. They should be here tomorrow, but we're just gonna go ahead and start with this aftermarket setup, this discount ICT billet bracket, and roll from there. So let me shut up and let's get to it. All right, first things first, we gotta attach the cheapy bracket. All right, so using my old one as cross reference, you're gonna have like a little small one like this. It's gonna go on this outside. And then you're going to take these two halves. These two halves are going to go right here. And then we're going to count your bolts, which we have 3 of them. I'm gonna go get me a wrench for that. But they kind of all, I 100% believe that they're kind of all made in the same goddamn place. So I always assume that they all go together the same way. Problem number one that I'm encountering is these bolts right here aren't technically made for this. But because I am a hoarder, I still have the factory bolts. So that'll work just fine. Let's cross-reference this real quick to see how long they are. They're just a little bit shorter, but that's okay. That'll be fine. There we go. You won't see any of this behind the pulley anyway. Let me go find another one of these bolts. I got another one of these factory bolts laying around somewhere. I feel a lot better using the original hardware. Look at that. Same size. Because we know the original hardware ain't gonna break. So, and look at that. Thread right on in there like a glove. Okay. There we go. That's now hooked up to it. Now, what we do is this bolt right here on the back side, and that's when we'll start using this stuff. So let's kind of shimmy to the Yukon. Okay, so again, no instructions. We have 4 long boys, all right? And we have only one single long one of these. This one is gonna go down the bottom down here, all right? That one's gonna go down to the bottom. We have 3 of these middle link ones, and we have 3 of these small ones. Going based off of the one that I've already installed before, these are going to be sandwiched between the 2 brackets themselves, and the smaller ones are going to be the ones that's going to be braced up against the head. All right, let's get to this. So, I got my bracket in my hand. I want to go ahead and I want to start with just a random one. So let's just say I want to start with that one. So we're going to throw that in there. I'm going to throw this long one on there. I'm going to take our bracket and do that. Nope, this way. Yeah, we're going to do that. Then take one of these short ones. And then we're going to bolt this to the head as such. Goodness gracious. Come on. The hard part is basically trying to jumble all this stuff while you hold on for dear life. That's the hard part. But once you get it started, kind of in the clear. So now we're going to take another one of these medium link ones, 1 bolt, boom, right there. Take this small one. Yep. Okay. And then we're going to take our little spacer. And get it in position. Lightly start it. We're in position. Cool. We're gonna keep repeating this process. So this one, right there, right there, right there, and then this little piece back here. Okay, all those are now threaded into the block. Now we're gonna take this long one, go down here, okay, all those are in there. Now we just have to tighten that all up. I like to hand tighten them like this first. That way if I feel any kind of resistance or anything like that, I'll know something's wrong. But instead of just taking a wrench to it, if I take a socket wrench to it, then it just, sometimes you can overlook some stuff. Things get real critical really quick. Supposed to. Guys, you'll be paying like an arm and a freaking leg for this if you was to buy the ICT swap stuff, guys. And like this stuff, I'm literally 100% positive. I really do believe that all this stuff is made in the same freaking place. And you know, this may not be as shiny as the ICT one, but guess what? It does the same goddamn job. The hardware's not gonna be, you know, superb or anything like that, but I mean, heck, if it works, it works. I mean, why are we stressing? Most people will say like, oh man, that hardware is crap. That's because you took an impact and you probably sent it to freaking Alabama, and you know, that's all she wrote. I mean, if that's what you're doing, of course this stuff isn't gonna freaking work. You done smoked it to Alabama. What you thought was gonna happen? You thought that, I mean, if it's made in China, which it probably is, you think this freaking hardware is gonna last? Freaking putting 200 pounds of freaking torque on something? Heck no, it's not gonna freaking last. If you thought so, then you're the freaking problem. Stop giving this little off-brand stuff a bad rap, man. This stuff works. I mean, heck, especially if you're not trying to spend a shit ton of money. Ain't nobody trying to spend freaking $5,000 on a freaking accessory drive. I'm not saying that those accessory drives ain't nice, because they are. I've seen some at car shows. They look fantastic. But when I think spending $5,000 on a car, I'm not thinking $5,000 for a freaking accessory bracket when I can go to the junkyard and get some that's going to do the job just as freaking good. Or I can just get online and buy some lemon pepper steppers, and you know, they work just as good. They may not be name brand, but that's okay. The shoe will still fit. All right. See, all this stuff so far has been good. Look at that. Let's bring you in. Look at that. That looks good. And this is supposed to be the one that moves the power steering like so many feet. That looks good. We can work with that. Let's go see what else we can do. It's time to put the alternator in. That's what it's time to do. So we got 2 more freaking bolts and 2 of these little, make sure your hardware fits. It does. Thank God for that. Did I mention I didn't pay anything hardly for that freaking thing? Take our alternator. Look at that. Like a glove. Boom. Boom. Look at that. This alternator cost me like 80 bucks off the Amazon. You guys know. I'm going to put the link down below. It's a 105, which is all we really need right now. We don't need nothing. We don't need no fancy crap. We'll upgrade to a 145 or a 160 if we decide to like do some real pulling. Look at that. Bolted right in. Not a problem. That thing just slid right the heck on. You can't freaking beat that. You can't. Alright. I'm kind of shocked how quick and simple that went. Alright. This is the new tensioner that did not come with the kit. And we're about to pull out the tensioner that came with the kit. Future. Just gonna go ahead and call that now. If the big mama don't work, then guess what? We'll put the little mama on. How about, you know what? For shits and giggles, gang, we're gonna put the little mamba on. How about that? For shits and giggles. Then we're gonna snake our hand back here. Come on. There we go. Got a little wobble in it. And there goes my wrench. I'll never see that again. I got a little wobble in it. Interesting. Okay. Now let's take that back off then. That one does not have a wobble in it. So that should tell you exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna run this big one. This one had a little wobble in it. We're just gonna go ahead and tighten some of this stuff up, and we're gonna put the tensioner on. So that's good. Remember, the hardware is not supposed to be the best. So if you take it amongst yourself to go crazy on this hardware, you deserve whatever happens to you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna install this real quickly. There we go. That is incorrect. There we go. We're just gonna put that on. I'm not gonna sit here and take the time to hunt for some actual tensioner bolts. I do have some extra tensioner bolts coming in just in case. See, I premeditated all this because I have a bad habit of buying, like, if I buy a water pump, I buy water pump bolts. If I buy XYZ, I buy this along with it. That way I have like an abundance of stuff roaming around. You see what I'm saying? So I do have some bolts coming in. Out of that kit, we got 2 leftover bolts. Don't know where this is coming from, so I got 2 random bolts that I have no idea where they go. Pretty sure they probably go to that pulley. And we didn't have the bolts for the bolting the power steering bracket onto the power steering pump. We was able to reuse our old bolts that went to our old bracket. So, is it a good kit? It's a good kit if you are a guy that don't throw away stuff. I would not recommend this kit to somebody that just want to bolt on and go. I would probably recommend you buy that black kit that I had. That came with everything. This one was a little bit cheaper than that black kit, and I can see why, because it didn't come with all the necessary hardware, but I had all the hardware anyway. So I'll give this I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It seems like decent quality. The bolts seem all right. Just don't crank too hard on them and you won't break anything. But that's with any bolt. You're bolting into aluminum heads. So do you expect to sit there and, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's get that power steering pulley on. All right. Now, what I like to do is I like to put a little anti-seize on this bad mamma jamma right there. And I also like to put it a deliberate mount on the inside of the pulley. Why? Well, I like to make life easy. And for my install kit, I always lube your threads. And we're basically gonna just swoop, put that thing on, run this down up in there. We're gonna drill it. I'm starting to see problem number one is gonna be with this pulley right here. This pulley's too freaking fat. So that's gonna have to come off real quick. See, that's why we test fit stuff. So this is gonna have to come off. So, what did we just learn? We just learned that the stock pulley will not work. Whatever size diameter pulley that we got on that other one, that's what we have to use. That is very different than the other kit that we used. The other kit allowed us to do that. So that's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. We'll just revisit that once we get this on. That should be a better view for the viewing experience. So we're going to take this and this, and we're just going to basically do this. You know what? I was doing it right the first time. There we go. This is a pretty boring process, but it will slowly drive it on. So I'll bring you guys back once we got this on. This is pretty much all it is. It's a pretty damn boring experience. It'll also explain why I pre-lubed that stuff already. So I'll bring you back. Whoop, 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 whoop. Look at that. Look at that. That's nice. That's what I'm talking about. Don't that look good? Now, can you believe that I got less than $300 in this entire accessory drive? If you do not count the water pump. Because I think the bracket was 60 bucks. The alternator, like I said, was 80 bucks. Power steering pump was 80 bucks. So 80, 80, 160, 60, 220, 220. That tensioner was 20 bucks. So 240. Yeah. $240. And if I have to add the water pump in it, the water pump was like 80, 90 bucks. It was AcDelco. So let's say under 350. So add that to the total. Now, let's go back to that. So I realized that this big one was having issues. See? That's no bueno. So we're going to have to run this smaller one. But the smaller one, there was some kind of interference. That looks fine. Why was there interference with that? Let's figure it out. We're definitely going to have to go down to our parts house and get a idler pulley. Look at this one, okay? Look at this. It looks normal, but if you look at it from the top glow, that is not normal. It's swaying side to side. So I might have one laying around here, but we're not gonna go with it right now. We're not gonna question it. What we are gonna question is this green gator belt and will it fit? AcDelco K060970HD. Of course the belt doesn't fit. Luckily for us, you see that setup? That is literally identical to this setup. So all I gotta do is look through my stash. So we'll do that off camera. Let's talk about this air cleaner setup, okay? So factory OBS trucks, the battery sits over there, okay? Over here you have like your reservoir tank for your washer fluid, some smog BS, and this is normally where your little storage container goes if your truck had one of those. Well, you can put the battery on this side to mimic the NBS setup, and all you have to do is remove that box. You don't even have to remove the washer fluid, but we're not going to be using any of that crap, so we just got rid of it to make it look clean. Put the battery over here. There's a little tray, and the hold down is the exact same. It just flops over. On this side, our battery box used to sit over here. It used to bolt up down there and through there. This is the original frame, okay? We went ahead and took that frame out. What I want to do is I want to put the new body style air box cleaner setup over there with a stock intake tube. So what did I do? I went down to my local yard. I got the brackets out of them and the little container that all this sit on, and this looks awfully similar to this. You see what we're getting at? So that got thinking, I could just snatch that out of the NBS truck. It should just kind of fall in place over here, right? And if you look at the height, that little box bolts on top of it, I was able to save those bolts as well. And more or less, I should be able to take this stock piece right here and see what I'm saying? And the box is gonna bolt on the top of this. Let's see how plug and play this is. First thing we gotta do, we gotta take our grill back off. How you like those headlights from this view? Say, don't make me call you something on camera I can't call you. There we go. Alrighty, so this little bracket right here used to bolt on the inside like this. It's accessible between this hole and this hole right here. No, this hole and this hole. I got some hardware that I just had laying around, and we're going to use this to confirm whether or not this works. So all right, let's get this bracket where we need it. It's actually working. I'm gonna put this one in too. And I'm gonna bring you guys in and kind of show you what we got going on. But it's working. Let's see something real quick. Look at this, guys. See them bolts? Right there. Look at that. Right there. Everything lines up. We got this one little spot right here that I can probably like drill, tap and drill, and just send a bolt in from the underside. But it bolted in. Transmission lines aren't damaged. They're good. They're in a good spot. They're not rubbing. Nothing's rubbing. So I call that a success. All right, let's get the top side of this box on. This is why you keep up with everything. Come on. And this is that other piece that I was talking about that come with the box. Yep, look at that. Bolts right on in. Let's go ahead and run that down. Look at that. That's in there. It's not going nowhere. It's sturdy. It's not flabby. Now, with that being said, I should be able to take this stock box . That's not going nowhere. Look at that. That's permanent. Look at that. Even got the filter still in it. Let's see here. Look at that. How can you not like that? Oh man. Now, I probably could have bought an aftermarket cold air intake setup or hot air intake setup, whatever your flavor is. And yeah, just did that. But how does that help me make it look like it came from the factory like that? You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm thinking about taking my my battery box, or not my battery box, my storage container. I'm thinking about taking my storage container and mounting it over there. So if I were to take this and put it over here, you think that is too much in the engine bay or what? That I want you to comment down below, because we're not putting that back in for now. Let me go do some shakedowns see if I got everything tight and bolted up before I put this back on, because I don't plan on taking that back off. After I put it on this time, it's not coming back off unless there's something seriously, and it has to be seriously going on. So BRB. We BRB into a whole new freaking day. So, couple things. I'm running out of time. We're probably going to go ahead and kind of rush this video and get it out the way. I was supposed to receive packages today. Guess who didn't receive packages today? Huh. It's like you pay for the extra shipping for it to still arrive at the normal time. Okay. Now that I'm done complaining, I threw it back on like I said I was going to do. We got all the light bulbs and everything in there. Looks pretty swanky. All right. Let's touch on some other stuff that I went ahead and did. Fan shroud. Fan shroud is back in there. Look at that. Perfect. There go them dang dogs. Fan shroud's back in. This is the radiator hose. I'm going to turn you upside down. That is the radiator hose. Now, it's a little bit longer than the other one that we had put on from the last video, but it's still not long enough to droop over here. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about taking that other hose that I got, cutting it, getting one of those you know those little steam port hose things that they make for the upper radiator hose, that where you got somewhere to run your steam port? Yeah, I'm thinking about if I get one of those and I cut it over here, I can use the extension of that to extend this all the way out to lay flat. But that's going to be for another video. But that's back on. We can't put our belt on because freaking I don't got the bolts. I've looked for bolts for this. I don't have any bolts on me. So the only other thing that we really got left that we can play with at the moment is this stock intake tube. Okay? The stock intake tube. Let's set them up real quick. Okay. So if I want to use this intake tube, first and foremost, you got to come off for a second. There we go. Get on there. Yeah. Now we'll take our hose, and our hose just go right back down. Now, don't that look factory-like? Look at that. The only problem that I'm having is right here. This coupler and this air box, they're not jiving. So, I need to figure out something that could work with that. I thought about taking something like this and seeing can I work this into there. I'm unsure about all that. We don't have enough time this week to kind of play with any of that stuff. I need you guys to comment down below some ideas for the air intake system. Okay, so let's go ahead and just say we don't necessarily have to run the stock air tube. Okay, that's not a necessity. What is a necessity is I want to run this stock air box, but at the same time, if we can't run the stock air box and there's not another stock style intake that I can run from here, I don't want to buy one of those goofy little flexible extend things. Those are freaking ugly. I want to somehow make it to where this goes into this box. And if we can't do that, could we perhaps actually spend money on an aftermarket cold air intake setup for a Silverado? Because guys, remember, if we take this off, remember, we have the base plate now for the Silverado. And if I remember correctly, the new intake, the new cold air intake systems that they sell for, well, I say new, they're old, but you know what I mean. The cold air intake setups that they sell for the NBS and the NNBS trucks use this base plate as the mounting for those systems. So I should, in theory, be able to order like a cold air intake kit for like a 04 Sierra, and you know, it kind of do what it do, right? That's what I'm thinking. Also, I need to buy a clutch fan. Now, I was gonna use this clutch fan, which just came off the Vortec 350. The problem is, I can't get that clutch fan off. I've tried everything. I've tried a vise. I've tried heating it up. I've tried enough. And I cannot, for the life of me, get that off. I'm pretty sure it's because I don't have enough beanie weenies in me to break it loose, but it's not coming off. I do know it's counterclockwise as well. I can't get it off, so I just got to order one. I've been told that the clutch fans on the 99 350s work better than the LS clutch fans because there's like a difference with the shroud and the fan sticking out a little bit. So from my understanding, those fans actually sit in a little bit further, and that would, you know, give us that. Now, we probably could run electric fans, but I'm not trying to overcomplicate stuff. So, clutch fan it is. Oh, man. Guys, that's pretty much going to wrap it up. I'm kind of upsetty spaghetti. I mean, we did get to try another Scamazon bracket kit for 60 bucks. And, oh, speaking of Scamazon bracket kit, I went back and double verified on that bracket kit. It didn't say anything about coming with the bolts for the power steering pump to mount to the bracket. So, they technically didn't not short me on parts, but it would have been nice to have that. So if you order that one, be prepared to use your old bolts that you got off your old bracket that was mounted. Don't throw that kind of stuff away. But yeah, everything kind of turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to be. The front grille like this really makes it. And when you take this and you shut the dang hood, like, come on. There we go. When you look at it like this, I mean, come on. Look at that. It has a stock appearance to it. But I'm rambling, guys. We got to go ahead and wrap this video up. Again, I'm running out of time. If you made it to this point of the video, like always, I really appreciate you checking me out, checking these videos out, checking out the process on the 99 bread box Yukon build. We're over the moon about it. We're trying really hard to wrap this up. We got a couple more little nitpicky things before we actually fire that up. Like I said, I wanted to save the Holley Terminator system for the last thing. That needs to be the last thing that we do. Next video on that Yukon might be something short and simple. I went ahead, I bit the bullet. I ordered the transmission cross member and the X pipe, so we're going to be fooling with exhaust on that next. I'm not going to say that the next video coming out will be a Yukon video, but the next video regarding that Yukon is going to probably be an exhaust video because we got to tie up all these freaking loose ends. I got some power steering hoses and stuff coming in, and it's nothing but a bunch of little pickpocket stuff that wouldn't do us any good recording anything like that. So we got to tie off all this loose stuff. I'm going to bring you back into the engine bay once we get back to like the meat and potatoes of the build, sort of say. But god dang, I'm rambling. I love you guys. The fall is here. The weather is nice. It's a breeze out, and I couldn't be happier. See you in the next video. Y'all ain't harassing me today, are you? Nope. Better not harass me and scroll my light all over the place in the last video. What kind of deal is this?